You guys know what this represents?
Well,
Maybe it's the calm before the storm.
what's the storming?
Could be the calm before the storm.
What storm is
We have the
President?
world's great military people in this room, I will tell you that. And we're going to have a great evening. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
Give us a hint on your end.
Thank you, everybody.
Maybe some of you remember him saying that back in 2017. Did you hear the one reporter's question? Give us a hint on your Iran decision. That plays out a lot more today than it did back then. Now, when I say that this has been planned for a long time, I'm sure many of you know about Ingersoll Lockwood's books, The Last President, or 1900, and his other book, Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, about a time-traveling young man named Barron Trump and his mentor named Don. Or how about this 1950s Western called Trackdown, specifically the episode titled The End of the World, which aired on May 9, 1958. In the episode, a character named Walter Trump, played by Lawrence Dobkin, acts as a con man who tries to convince a town to build a wall to protect them from a predicted apocalypse. I promise if you make it to the end of this video, you're going to have a lot better understanding of what their plans are. Now, it's a little late in the game, so I'm not going to go through every movie or TV show that predicted Trump and his rise to presidency, like the character Biff in Back to the Future 2, for example. I'm just going to assume that most of you already know all of this, because I want to get to the meat and potatoes of what's going to happen from here forward. Now, like I said, I'm 61 years old. This is the first video I've done in probably 3 years, since I got kicked off of TikTok for life about 3 years ago, just when I was becoming monetized and had over 50,000 followers and things were going good, but they censored us a lot more back then. And these are the type of videos that I used to do. I was known as the conspiracy scientist. I just figured now that almost anyone can see all the chaos that's going on in the world right now, that these type of videos would hit a lot harder now in real time than they did back then. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of it all that I feel is going to happen from this point forward. We're going to start off with the data centers. Now, most of you already know about the data centers and the narrative that the mainstream media feeds you about what they're going to be used for. I'm sure many of you think that this is going to be convenient because of all the technology that it's going to bring you. Well, I have a different theory about what these are actually going to do. What you're looking at here is a map of all the data centers that are either active or currently being built just in the United States. Unfortunately, if any of you have had one built near your home, you have realized just how much your electricity bill, water bill have been increasing, because the cost of running these things is ridiculous. And what are they doing? They're passing those costs on to us. So we're paying for these prisons. Now, what these data centers are capable of doing, it's already been happening in like the newer automobiles, where they can shut your car off because they think that you are either too sleepy or that you're drunk for whatever reason. Or let's say you make a tweet on X or you put something on Facebook that they don't like. What can they do? They can make your credit card not work. So now you can't have access to your money or can't have access to be able to drive your car. This is a way to control you. And that's what these are being used for. You have to know this. But if you want to just play along and do as you're told, then go for it. I'm just not going to go out like that. By the way, if you were wondering what this looked like on the world scale, if you'll notice, the USA and Europe has the majority of the data centers. I mean, we're completely covered in them compared to the rest of the world. And that's because most of the problem children who know what's going on are from these two regions. And these are the ones that they want to control the most. By the way, if you'd like to see an example of just how loud these data centers are and just how much it will depreciate the value of your home, here's a 30-second example. Imagine buying your home 20 years ago and having a bunch of equity built up in it, only to find out your new neighbor is one of these data centers. How much it's going to kill the value that you've built up in your home. Bullshit. Now let's get back to my theory of how they are going to cull the population of the earth. Besides the oil that is being trapped in the Strait of Hormuz by the Iranian government as well as the US government, since they're all in it together, and you have countries like Europe and Australia who are down to like a week, 10-day supply of oil, then what's going to happen? It's going to be complete chaos. Well, you also have a graph here showing you the amount of fertilizer that has been crossing the last couple of months. And you look at the numbers. I mean, it is so low. So now the farmers aren't going to be able to grow food. And yeah, they're going to starve us out. It's all right there. This is the proof. This is what's happening. So yeah, it'll be fun. And how do they plan on keeping you distracted from all of this? Well, enter Kash Patel. So that's how they're going to do it. They're going to release the UFO files finally, just to keep you distracted and your mind off what's really going on. And here is proof of that. Kash Patel yesterday stating that there's an update coming any day on the release of the UFO files. Remember, I started this video saying that it's all part of the plan. And how do we know? Well, you remember these, the Georgia Guidestones. They were blown up back in 2022. And why were these 20-foot tall granite monuments blown up? Well, because they had their 10 commandments or guidelines etched out in 8 different languages. And I think it's that first one that I'm making my point on, which says, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. And there you have it, folks.
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know I'm doing it really, really well.